to Let's Get Crafty. It's Miss Becky again, and today we are going to be working on a craft called tissue paper painting. I'm really excited about this one. I have had a lot of fun trying to figure this craft out. It's pretty simple, and you end up with something really cool and really pretty. So let's get into it. I'm trying to think if there's anything I need to tell you guys before we get started with the fun stuff. It's a tricky time right now because with the schools changing things around a little bit, we're having to rethink some of our programming. Two of us have kids who are in school, so we're going to be teaching our kids at home a little bit. So we're still figuring it out. You know, I've told my kids the theme for this year is flexible. So we're all working to be flexible. So I don't think I have any real announcements because we're going to be figuring some stuff out. As you're watching this, I'm recording it a week early. So by the time you see this, we might have things figured out, and there are probably going to be things on the website that you can go and look for, programs you can register for. We're definitely going to still be doing Let's Get Crafty once a month. I love doing this with you guys. And I think Miss Chrissy's going to be doing a STEM program once a month. So there are things that you'll be able to do. We're still going to do some story times. We're just figuring things out as we go. And that's just fine. So with all that being said, let's get into the good stuff. Okay, so like I said, this week we're doing tissue paper painting, right? This one involves some supplies that you might have laying around, but chances are, I don't think I have them at my house necessarily. Not everything we need anyway. So hopefully you registered for this craft so that you will get these supplies. If you didn't, I am planning on, depending on how many people register, I am planning on making some extra bags of the supplies that we will have on the counter in front of the youth services desk at the library. So you can always call and ask if any are available, or you can just pop into the library when we're open and you can get those bags yourself. And if you watch this and you think it's cool and you really want to do it, we have stores in town where you can buy those supplies. I ordered the stuff off Amazon as well, so that's always an option. Okay, so let's go over what you will be getting in your bag if you registered. The first thing you're going to be receiving is a canvas. Okay, so this has a bit of a texture on it. It's very firm. It's not just a piece of paper. It's got a board, and the canvas is attached to the board. So it's nice and firm so it won't curl up on us when it gets wet. The next thing that you're going to be getting is some of these tissue paper squares. You'll each be getting a bag of different colors of tissue paper squares. That's another one that's hard to say, tissue paper squares. And then you're going to be receiving a bottle, and it's a spray bottle. You'll have to fill it with water. I'm not going to give you the water, obviously, because that might leak in the bag and ruin everything. We don't want to do that. We want everything to come to you just how you need it. So you'll be getting a spray bottle, and then you can fill it with water. And, the last thing, I had to change things up a little bit. Initially, I thought we were going to be doing this with a white crayon. And when I tried to do it that way, I tried it a couple of different times, and it just didn't work out for me. And that's okay, because we're gonna pivot a little bit, and we're gonna make it work, right? So I've got something else in mind on how we're gonna do this. The bonus is, when everything was done, I realized we have the supplies for a whole other craft, okay? So instead of a white crayon, you're going to be getting a yellow piece of paper. You don't need this until after we do the first craft, okay? So it will be in your bag, but you just want to set it aside for now. Okay, now the things that you're going to need at the house. For the initial step, this is another one of those. We work a little bit, then we're patient, we work a little bit more. For the first step, you just need the three things that I mentioned just now: the canvas, the tissue paper, and the spray bottle. For the next step, you will need a marker. And then for our bonus craft, you'll need some kind of glue. I'm going to use bottled glue today, but you could use the stick glue as well if you'd like to do it that way. I was just thinking, I haven't checked my glue to make sure I poked a hole in. I hope it'll come out for me. We'll make it work. Okay, let me show you what we're making. So this is the first one that I made, and I think it turned out really pretty. And I'm going to show you how you can make something just like this. We're going to set that up there as our example, and get this piece of paper out of the way. As you can see, this is this is the paper that I made my first one on top of, and it bled outside of my canvas. Okay, so when you're working on this, you're going to want to put something down that will protect the surface that you are working on. Another good idea, because this could get messy, especially with the little ones, is to make sure you either have on, you know, some clothes that you don't mind if they get a little messy. I don't know if this will wash out of clothing, so if you want to wear like an old t-shirt or wear your smock that you wear when you do some crafting, that is not a bad idea at all. Okay, so we've got our canvas, we've got our water bottle. Okay, so if you haven't done it yet, fill it up with water. You can always pause the video, just like always. I will be waiting for you when you get back. And we're going to take our spray bottle, and we just want to spray a little bit on the canvas. Okay, we want to cover the canvas in water, but we don't want to go overboard. Okay, we just want to give it a nice layer of water for the tissue paper to stick to when we put it on the canvas. So just spray a little bit. I don't know if that's coming across on the screen at all, but my canvas is now damp. And you'll want to go into your bag of tissue paper. And you're going to have all sorts of colors. Now, it's up to you how you do this. Just like always, this is just me giving you an example. But if you have an idea, you could always think about it ahead of time. You can look at the colors that you get. And you can decide if you would like to do a specific pattern, or you can do like I did on this one and just sort of lay them out and see what happens. It's a great one to have sort of as an experiment. So I'm just going to do like I did with this other one. I'm just going to kind of lay them out as I go. We'll see what colors I have. I do like the idea of sort of, if I want my pattern to be random, I try to separate my colors out. So when you are putting your tissue paper on, depending on how wet your board is, you might want to tap it down just a little bit to help it adhere. I like to start with my corners, just to get myself started, and then take it from there. Let's see. Now, like I was saying, if you did not get one of the bags of supplies for this, that's okay. This is, oh boy, I'm gonna have trouble talking today. I have allergies going on, so bear with me as I try to talk. This is a special kind of tissue paper, and this is called bleeding tissue paper. If you're buying it in a craft store, that is what it will say on the package. But from what I understand, this is also just kind of cheaper tissue paper, because when it gets wet, the colors run. So this is a good way if you have some cheaper tissue paper hanging around at your house. You could always, tear off a piece, get it damp, stick it on a piece of paper, see what happens. You might already have the stuff at home, and you certainly don't need a canvas to do this. But like I said, I tried it on a piece of paper as well, and the piece of paper, when it got damp, it did curl up a little bit. Didn't ruin it, It just wasn't as flat as I wanted it to be. So just stuff to keep in mind as you're putting together your craft. And I am putting it, you'll see, over the edges of the canvas a little bit, and that's just because I want the color to go all the way to the edge. And then I'm just laying it out. I'm sort of thinking about what I'm doing, because like I said, I want my pattern to be kind of random. But I've also seen a beautiful one where someone did like a rainbow. That one's really cool. I would definitely attempt that by myself with a little more time. This is another opportunity to sort of, you want to have your pieces of tissue paper overlap. As you can see I've done that with a few. So you want to have your tissue paper overlap, and then there will be times, you'll see in this one it happened, where I might have had a couple of different colors on top of each other and they combined to make a different color. So that's something, parents, that you guys can talk about as you're putting these things together. The kinds of things like yellow and blue make green. So let's say I have a yellow piece of tissue paper, and let's have it overlap here a little bit. I have a blue piece of tissue paper. So that little corner where they overlap, it turns green, doesn't it? Can you see that on the screen? I hope so. But yeah, yellow and blue make green. Blue and red make purple. Can you think of any others? Yellow and red. Does anybody know what that color makes? Let's see if we can put that together. We've got red right here. If we put yellow over it, it will make, I don't know if it's going to do it right there, but yellow and red will make orange together. There we go. All right, so this is it. This is it for the first step. So we're just going to keep working on this together. I hope you guys have had a great start with school. My kids have really enjoyed being back at school and seeing some old friends, making some new friends, new teachers, learning some new stuff already. It's been really fun. Let's see. Ooh, I want that right there. This is something you don't have to hurry through. As long as your canvas is damp, they will stick, and you can think about it as you go. And you have your spray bottles, so if part of your canvas, like right there for me, that part got a little dry. Let's see. You don't need to do it a lot, but if you do see that your tissue paper isn't sticking like you want it to, you can always put a little spray here and there. Make it work for you. That one decided it wanted to land there. I think that one's white. I don't know if that one's going to show up so well. I'm going to put a different color on top of that as well. Let's see, what do I want on top of that? I want a dark green, I think. I wonder if we put the white down and the dark green, I wonder if that will make a lighter green color. We'll find out. There we go. And as you can see, my fingers, the dye does come off on your fingers, and I think it washed off for me just fine. I think when I made the first one, if they didn't wash off right away, the dye was gone within a day or so. And with the amount of times we're washing our hands these days, it doesn't take much for it to go away. So I think I told you I tried to use a white crayon on this craft the first time. It didn't work out. It was a bit of a bummer. I was really looking forward to it. The idea was you could take your white crayon, draw on, you know, a picture or some words, and this is what happened when I used the white crayon on this. And actually the white marks that you see, that's not even the crayon. That was just, you know, I think it was the paper wrinkling up a little bit or something. But yeah, my white crayon did not come through at all. Oh, I think I need a bit more water. And I tried it again a second time, and it didn't work out again. So I was a bit bummed. It worked a bit better the second time. I really bared down the second time. But the message that I was trying to write, it just didn't work. It didn't come through. So perhaps it's something about the crayons I was using, which I was using, you know, Crayola crayons. I just, you know, somebody pointed out perhaps Crayola crayons aren't waxy enough for what I needed. You know, I think it was Miss Chrissy who said the crayons, you know, that we get in the Easter dyeing kits that are very waxy that you use on the eggs to draw a pattern on those, that might be more of what you need for this craft. But you know what, that's okay. We'll save those white crayons because I have boxes and boxes of white crayons right now. We'll save those for another craft we'll do sometime soon. Maybe something in winter. We could do a nice winter scene. Do white crayons on a navy or a black background. That would be fun. Let's see, where do I want this blue one? Ooh, one down right here. So we're just building our color as we go, just sort of spraying it occasionally. Let's see. I got to see some beautiful back to school paper crowns after our craft a couple of weeks ago when school started. You guys are so creative and so wonderful. And I just love that we all get to do this together. One of the really nice things that came out of all this is that we all get to do this craft program together. And, you know, I really enjoy it. I just love it that you guys get to share how creative you are with me often. And it's really fun for me too, to be able to make this stuff. Let's see. As you can see, we have a nice variety of colors in here. We have all sorts of colors, don't we? I see pinks, purples, blues, greens, different shades of green, different shades of orange. We even have two different shades of red that you'll see. One is deeper than the other one. I don't know if this will come across on camera, but you see two different shades of red. Hopefully it catches in the light. But yeah, it's a great pack of tissue paper. I was very happy with what showed up. Sometimes when you're buying craft supplies online, it feels like a bit of a gamble, waiting to see what you're going to get. But I was very happy with this. Let's see, what colors do I want? Now, I do want to mention, because, you know, I have the luxury of having lots of little papers here with me, right? And you can always check your tissue paper supply stash at home, like I mentioned, but you're going to have a set number of little pieces of paper. So you do want them to overlap, but you don't want to pile them all in one corner and then realize that you've run out of paper, right? So you definitely want to think about what you have in front of you, and you want to be able to cover the canvas like you want. And you can certainly make, like I said, different patterns. You could have some white space on your canvas and use, you know, like do it on the sides or do like in the middle. I was even thinking, I haven't had a chance to test it yet, but it might be neat to like put down some tape on the canvas, and see, like if you have some painter's tape, something like that, and see if that would create lines on the canvas. That could end up really cool. So look at your supplies and think about how you want to do your craft. And this is one of those, it's sort of like, you know, once you learn the technique, you could do this over and over again as long as you had the supplies to do it. It's definitely a good opportunity if you're like me and you just suddenly, you know, discover you have an amazing assortment of tissue paper at home all of a sudden. How does that happen? Years and years of buying birthday and holiday gifts, and then suddenly we have plenty. And if it's the kind that bleeds, you can do some really fun stuff with it. Let me see, what do I want? Blue. I think my canvas is getting a little dry again. There we go. Trying to figure out colors I haven't stuck in certain spots yet. Oops. I'll use these. And all right. Let me see. Do I have any white spots? I do have a couple. I think I have one over there. I think I'm good though. Oh, I think I'll put a little bit. Oh, I know. Here's an idea. If you've got some little spots at the end and you just need to make sure they get covered, you can always tear. That is one thing I haven't done yet, but you're welcome to tear these into little bits if you want to make even smaller pieces that you're sticking on. Perfectly okay. Oh, I see another little. Let me do one more. Split it up between the two sides. And the colors will bleed out a little bit. We're going to wet it one more time before we set it aside. Okay, so I think that's good. I think we have all of that covered now, don't we? Isn't that really pretty? I took a picture of the first one I did and we posted it on Facebook because I just think that's super pretty. Okay, so now we're going to take our water bottle again and we just want to not go, oh, see, that spot needed a, we don't want to go overboard, okay? Because the idea is that we do want this to dry eventually. And I worry if you get it too wet, the colors might bleed out too much. But you definitely want to encourage the colors to bleed. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, so here's the part where, I know, it's not any of our favorite parts, is it? This is the part where we are patient, okay? Let me brush these aside so they don't get damp. I should have done that before I sprayed, but luckily I didn't get them wet. Okay, so, like I was saying, this is the part where we are patient. And, you know, it could dry in a few hours, but it's kind of better to let it sit for, I don't even know, probably 8 hours, overnight, that kind of thing. You will know when it is dry. It will not look like this anymore. This is jewel tones, isn't it? It's beautiful. It looks kind of like stained glass. But if it looks like this, it just means you need to leave it alone for a little longer. I know, but if you pull it off too soon, then the color won't get on the canvas as nicely as it does. So I'm going to be patient. Oh, set it aside. And when, let me see if I can show you this. So when it has dried, this is what your papers will look like. I have an extra piece of paper in there. I think it's a sticker. So this is what your papers will look like on top of your canvas, right? However you've laid them out, they will cover your canvas. And it's a nice surprise in the morning. This is what happened to me. I made my painting and then I left work. And when I came back the next morning, I got to take off all these pretty papers. And I did have to peel them a little bit, but they came off easily. But yeah, in the morning or, 8 hours later, however you're doing it. If you want to do the painting in the morning and then check it in the evening, that's cool. But yeah, your papers will look like this, right? Which is very different from those jewel tones that look like a stained glass window, right? So this is how you know they're dry. And then you'll be able to brush away the tissue paper. And you'll be able to see your canvas. It'll be so fun. I hope you guys will send me pictures of these when you're done. Okay, so look at these. Aren't these fantastic? Hopefully it's coming across on camera as well, because I have ended up with the most beautiful little pieces of tissue paper that are like little mini rainbows. They're so fun and so pretty. So this is part of the extra craft that I was talking about, okay? So for now, I don't want you to throw these away. I want you to set these aside. These are far too good, far too pretty to just throw in the trash. I couldn't bear to get rid of them. They just, they're so magical. So let's set those aside for right now. We'll get to those in just a moment. Let's get to, you've taken the paper off of your canvas. They're perfectly dry. These little pieces of paper, right? Perfectly dry, so you can set them aside. And this is what you have now, is your canvas, okay? Which is so pretty on its own, right? But because we couldn't use the white crayon to draw pictures on it, when I was kind of bummed that my crayon wasn't working out, Miss Chrissy and Miss Amy had a great idea, and that was we can use our marker to draw a picture on top of this, only if you want to. If you're happy with how this turned out, leave it as is. I think it's really pretty as it is, but I want to try, this is the first time I'm doing this, drawing on the canvas, so I want to try to see if I can draw. I'm going to draw a message on mine. If you want to draw pictures on yours, you certainly can. But yeah, let's just try it out. Let's see how it goes, right? You remember what we say in here? There are no mistakes, only happy accidents, right? So let's give it a shot. And the message that I did write it on mine. I wrote it along here. I put some hearts in, but I wrote kindness matters. So I am going to try and write that on with my marker right now. Let's see. And this is another one of those, if you want to try and do it with a pencil first, to try and sketch it out, or if you've got little ones who are still working on their letters. But it's also a perfect opportunity if you wanted to draw any kind of picture on here. You are welcome. I'm kind of procrastinating at this point, can you tell? I'm just going to go for it. Okay, here we go. All right. So, Kindness. Spells kindness. And then I'm going to write matters. M-A-T-T-E-R-S. There we go. Kindness matters. And then I'm going to do a heart up there, a heart there, and another one there. There we go. Maybe I'll do another little one up here. Okay. There we go. So that's my sign that I just made. I'm going to put that up somewhere in the library, somewhere over in Youth Services. And it turns out that the marker worked great on the canvas. And I think that's really cool. Okay, so that's that, right? You can take your time with yours. I want to show you this last little extra craft that we have, because I know this video is already a little bit long. Yeah, we're at a half hour already, and I'm sure you guys are doing great, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. So, like I said, we have all these glorious little rainbow pieces of paper, right? I was thinking it would be really fun if we used some glue, and we can use the glue, like I said, either glue stick or your bottle of glue, to either draw a picture, write a word. You could do your name, just like we did on your crown, right? You can sketch it out in pencil, get it the way you want it, if you want to do it that way, or you can just go straight in with the glue and do it that way, right? So I think I am so inspired by how much these look like a rainbow. I'm gonna do, yay, the glue comes out. I'm gonna do an arch up here. And then I'm gonna write the word love. Now this is just me doing this as an experiment. Well, let's see how it works out. Sometimes the best art comes from us just having a go at it, right? Seeing what happens. And as you can see, you just pick up the little pieces of paper and put them on top of the glue. And you're going to end up with something so colorful and pretty. Just like that. Ooh, it's a really neat one. Let's see. Do you guys know that when we talk about rainbows, we have a special acronym that we use to talk about the colors in the rainbows? It's a name, and if you haven't heard it before, it's called Roy G. Biv. And that stands for R for red, O for orange, Y for yellow, G for green, B for blue, I for indigo, which is a very dark blue, and V for violet, which is like purple. Ooh, that's a very purpley one. I like that one. That one might have started out as purple. As you can see, because the colors all bled onto the tissue paper, you get some really cool ones. And then this is another one where, guess what, guys? Once it's all on the paper with the glue, what do we have to do? Oh, we have to be patient. We have to let that glue dry, don't we? You can always shift them around a little bit. There we go. This is looking really pretty. I'm happy with this. Don't you love it when you get an extra craft out of the same supplies? Love it. And this one will feel very 3D as well. Oops. Let me slide these again. I'm getting carried away with my talking. Yeah, the paper will stick out from the page a little bit, depending on how much glue you use. And once again, that is up to, oh, I think that one's getting stuck. Oh, and now the color's coming up on my fingers. Oh my goodness. Hopefully your fingers will not be covered in the tissue paper dye when you're doing this the next day. But my little fingers they're dyed, so it's gonna come off a little bit, and that's okay. Ooh, that's a pretty one. Have you guys seen a rainbow in real life? Nothing compares, does it? It's such a beautiful sight. And I think the best thing about it is that they just pop up when you least expect them. I mean, you know it's raining, but you never quite know if the sun's going to come out in the right angle. Because that's what it is. It's light from the sun moving through the moisture in the air, and that does something that we call refracts the light, and that's how you can see the colors. The colors are always there in the light. When you add up all these colors together, you get white light. Isn't that amazing? But if you see it through just enough water in the air, it breaks up the colors, and then we get a rainbow. Almost done with a rainbow, then I want to see how I can do these letters. There we go. Ooh, that's really pretty so far. Okay, let me see what I can do for letters. Try and be a little more. Try and make my lines straight for my L. The words will be a little more difficult, but we'll see what we can do. There we go. We have our L. And this is another one too where you could always tear up the pieces of paper, right? If you wanted something smaller. And that might be a good idea with the letters. I don't know if I've squished mine in too close. I don't know if it'll come across, but it's a fun experiment. Yeah, the O's the trickiest one, I think. I don't know, the E might be tricky too. We'll see. All in good fun. But I love the rainbow part. I think that turned out really cute. Okay. Well, it kind of looks like an O. What do you guys think? That's pretty good so far. I can work with that. All right, now my V. I do think my letters I could have done them a little smaller, but that's okay. We just roll with it, don't we? The whole point is to have some fun and see what cool stuff we can make together. Oh, my fingers are getting sticky from the glue. Oh. A different one. There's my V. Hello, V. Yeah, like I said, my letters I could be tearing up these pieces of paper, but I don't want to take too much time doing this. And then we're going to do our E, which is kind of running into the rainbow, but that's okay. That's okay. You get the idea. You can do this however you like. All right, I'm gonna tear this one because I feel like otherwise it's gonna not really give me what I want. There we go. All right, we're coming to the end of it. There we go, there's our E. So we have our rainbow, and then I spelled out love, L-O-V-E. What do you guys think? I'm kind of happy with that. I mean, I could do things a little differently next time. If you want to do this, keep that in mind, space things out a little more because these are, they're little blocks. They're little squares. So if you can always tear them up. You could make something fantastic with these. I just know you guys. You guys are so creative. You'll do something wonderful. So as always, I would love to see what you guys make. Send me pictures, okay? I would love that. Send them to my email address. We'll have it in the post on Facebook. And that's it for Let's Get Crafty this month, guys. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. This one is so fun, so cool. I can't wait to see what you guys do. And then we're going to do something special in September. I don't have it planned out yet, but that's part of the fun, is that I get to go plan out what we're going to do for September, October, and November. So I will get those details to you guys as soon as I have them, and then we'll figure out when we can get you guys registered to pick up your crafts, and yeah, we'll just continue to have some fun with this. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys again. Always welcome to come visit me in the library. I love seeing those faces. Bye, guys.